Well, good afternoon, everyone. And man, what a show we have for you today. I'm your host, and we are live, my friends. Live. I'm glad that you're all here. I'm glad so many of you already hit the like button. I'm glad so many of you are excited about the days to come because it's about to get weird. It's always getting weird, and we know that the word weird comes from something that means it's... Give me a second. I have a little bit of a issue sometimes with my my music here. Weird means predestined, predetermined. It was meant to be. McDonald's. Everybody was excited about the Trumpster going to McDonald's. And my goodness, you're going to be excited too by the end of tonight's show. And I hope that you share it around. I hope you tell all your friends. I hope that all of you are having an amazing time because this is going to get weird. We're going to get to a place where you're going to have a hard time explaining how this stuff happens without there being some kind of divine intervention. That's right, I'm talking about God. On this channel, this is one thing that I will share with you is my faith. And you're going to get a lot of it today. So, today, not too long after I, out of the blue, posted on June 9th, 2023 that will we hear that Donald Trump owns the town? Do you remember that? Do you remember that commercial he did with Grimace? Remember I did a bunch of shows about Grimace. Did a bunch of shows about McDonald's turning upside down. They called it WickDonald's. It was a strange thing. A lot of this stuff we talked about a while ago, and now all of a sudden here it is again. So on June of 2023, that was the day after my birthday, I put this out. I said, Donald Trump only appeared in McDonald's once in 2002 with Grimace. And now here he is, 500 days later, my friends. 500 days later, and he is handing out fries, and he's taking orders, and he's looking like a spring chicken, having a great old time, giving people extra nuggets in the 6-piece meal, right? Instead of the 6, he gave it the number 7. A lot of people were saying, McDonald's, you should make it 7 nuggets now because of the Trumpster. Some people were going to detract from this and they were going to take away from the fact that he was working at McDonald's, which was a great thing for polling. I would think that would be a great thing just in general for the election, because what's more American than McDonald's, right? Thank you, Richard, for the super chat. What's more American than McDonald's? My goodness gracious. I grew up, there was one right down the street from my house. Nothing better than that sausage egg McMuffin until I learned how terrible it was for us. It's not the healthiest food. So listen, it's not that I thought it was strange that 500 days earlier I was somehow talking about Donald Trump. I covered the Golden Arches and Donald Trump quite a bit. But I didn't until today realize I had a dream about Donald Trump voting in McDonald's. I had a dream, true story, where there were like a bunch of voting machines in a McDonald's. Like people were going to McDonald's to vote. And I thought it was so strange that I actually shared it. You take a look right there on June 26th, 2024. Dream, ... McDonald's / WickDonald's voting machines. That was 117 days ago. 117 days later, after there's voting machines at McDonald's, there's voting going on at McDonald's for sure now. We see Trump right there, making America great again, giving out an extra nug. Who here is excited that maybe even those milkshake machines, they said that he fixed them? You think that this is strange? Think it's strange that I have a dream and 117 days later, because of course I talk about 7-Eleven all the time. Talk about all the flooding that's been going on for how long? Back in 2022. Trump and the coming flood. Then, of course, just 5 months ago or so, judgment from heaven, judgment from heaven. The flood is coming, the flood is coming. 7/11. And what do we have? Severe flooding still all over the world. I told you when we talked about this, when it happened in the Appalachians. We talked about this when Milton was barreling down. I was so scared. I was so scared because I connected that to a dream that I had, and also a video that I did years earlier where I said the 3 days of darkness was coming, and I thought, oh my goodness, I hope that there isn't going to be like 3 days of an island-wide blackout or something. And that happened too. We're going to get to that. But this flooding is hitting everywhere. It's Italy, severe flooding. France, severe flooding. Roswell, New Mexico, shut down, severe flooding. 7/11. Genesis 7/11. Genesis 7:11, which means God opens up the heavens. He's going to pour down. He's going to pour down the rain upon us. And when I did all these shows back in the day, I had said, oh, I hope it's just a spiritual thing. And man, has it been a spiritual thing. I hear from all of you, and I know that your walk is maybe a little more difficult, but my goodness, you're excited. By the end of this show, you're going to be more excited because all the things that tie together, unexplainable. Unless there is a God. Unless there is a God, I tell you. And I'm not saying that I'm anybody special. I'm not anybody special. I wanted to wear the I Am a Witness 11:11 shirt, but I couldn't find it because I think it was dirty. So I'm going to wear the Teach Me the Truth shirt because really it's about us going to God and asking for the truth. Not going to man, not going to temples or mosques or religious organizations. You can go there. I just talked about this in my last show, but it's about going to God. And I'm telling you, that's why I've been encouraging people to share their dreams. I'm telling you, if you want to serve God and you ask God, tell me what I'm supposed to say. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. Tell me how I should live my life. God will answer. And he'll answer in such a way that it will just boggle the minds of those around you. One of my biggest critics in my, we'll say the barbecue friend group just reached out to me. Always thought I was a Looney Tunes until all of a sudden these things start clicking. And now all of a sudden I may be invited to a barbecue again. Isn't that great? Talking about all this goofy stuff. But 7/11, 117 days earlier, I'm having dreams about McDonald's voting machines. And there he is. Strange. Strange. I mean, don't you think that's strange? Is it just me? I think it's weird. I think, you know what else is weird? I think it's weird that on October 8th, because I stumbled on that old post, on October 8th, I realized that on the 10th, it would be 117 days from my repost. My repost, which was about a video that I did called 3 Days of Darkness is Next. That was on May 30th, 2023, which, by the way, that's 511 days before today, 73 weeks ago. And today, 3 Days of Darkness has hit Cuba. Today's the third day of their blackouts. It's just weird. All of it's just very strange. And it's a shame because could you imagine the whole island, all of Cuba's done? Who heard about this? I think it's scary because in an instant, your entire neighborhood can be washed away. In an instant, everything that you put your faith in and everything you put your trust in could be gone. That's why it's good to have it's good to have a plan. It's good to have maybe some food on hand, some water on hand, maybe a couple of, bags just in case you got to go with your important stuff. Have a plan. I say this and I don't much have a plan. I got to be honest. Got a little bit of a plan. All right. I'm not exactly a prepper. I really do have a lot of faith in God, and I think that it'll work out, whatever it's going to be. I think God will get me there. I do trust that's how much my faith is, but sometimes I can be a little lazy, and I probably should be a little bit more on it. I should be a little bit more on it. We got a lot of people here. Will you all do me a favor? I forget to say this. Will you hit the like button right now? Will you do that so more people come and see? We're doing this a little bit earlier today, and it's nice when a lot of people get here so that it all kind of comes together in a strange way. But this McDonald's thing, I'm not done talking about, okay? I'm not done talking about 34 weeks. 34 weeks before he's working at McDonald's, right? I did this video that I've been talking about just recently. You probably saw it. It's the one where I had Bizarro Superman. If you saw any of my last shows, you probably know what I'm talking about. If not, just go back and watch, the show that has Bizarro Superman on it. But you'll see it says the shift has hit, the mark, the rapture, the switch into Stranger Things revealed. And you'll take a look at the Trumpster on that thumbnail. And what is he doing? He's holding the golden arches, his golden shoes. Do you remember when I triple dog dared Elon, right? Because he came out with the dark MAGA hat. I think that's the video that has all this stuff in there, the dark MAGA. You see Elon and Trump and Russell Brand all together on it. And it says dark magic, because MAGA in Latin means, witch and sorcery and all that stuff. And that's where we get Simon Magus from in the scriptures. And listen, I know it means make America great again, but when you get rid of the periods, it can also mean that. Just like Maha can also mean something in Hinduism, which I will talk about in another show. But if you take a look there, you see the McDonald's. That's the McDonald's symbol inverted. I talked all about that and how that McDonald's sign says, when you're trapped and you're lost in the dark, look for the arches. And we surmised by that post, which said on 2/26 it would happen. That was the thing. Let me see if I can blow this up so you can just see what I'm talking about. It says, you'll see the little, under the 23, it says McDonald's. It's happening on 2/26. Or it says 2.26. 2/26. That's when Trump basically started working at McDonald's? Yeah, like the very first post I could find was at 2/26 when he was entering in. They had these the pictures of it. Very strange. You take a look, you see the photo of Trump working at the drive-thru, and if you look at the time, I highlighted it, 2/26. 2/26. But then if you think about that post that I put out in June where I said, will news break that Donald Trump owns the town again? Well, everybody's saying he is owning these town halls like nobody's business. Steven Crowder today put out this, how Trump's McDonald's stunt just won the election. It's weird, It's weird because I don't think everybody's going to get what they think they're going to get. Am I the only one that thinks this? Am I the only one that thinks that maybe things aren't going to go as planned? Do you honestly think things are going to go as planned? Wow, we got a lot of people here already. Thank you for smashing a like. We got like less than half of you did this. This is important. Also, I would like to remind you, if you're watching right now, you should probably check to see if you're subscribed. I get constantly, I'm getting people saying, where have you been? I was somehow unsubscribed. I got to remind everybody, you got to look for me. You got to look for me. You got to go to Jacob Israel on YouTube. You got to go to my page. You got to find me or follow me on X. It's Jacob Israel 71 on X, or follow me on Telegram. All the links are in the description below. You really want to get great? You can go and become part of the Patreon club, right? Patreon, we're doing meetups every 2 weeks. And I'm starting to record them, and I'm going to share them. I'm going to do topical things. I have like an idea of where this can go. But they're crushing the town halls. Listen, my wife has been telling me, she's been saying to me, honey, you got to vote for somebody. I know you think that this whole thing is like a big to do, but you got to vote. You got to choose the lesser of two evils. That's what it's come to, right? You got to. She's telling me I got to. I mean, if a gun were held to my head, I'm going to be honest with you. If a gun were held to my head and they said, you have to vote for somebody, who do you vote for? I'm voting for Trump. Because but I have a feeling that things are going to be a little different. People, I don't want to encourage you to vote for Trump. I don't want to encourage you to vote for Kamala Harris. You do what you got to do. The Dan's she's putting her foot down on this one. She really wants me to be involved. I've been involved on this end for a long time, but I think that God's pretty much involved on the other end. And man, I got to tell you, this Everything has gotten so weird and so twisted. And you think that the dream that I had about the voting machines at McDonald's and the connection to Trump and all this stuff, the blackout and all these little things, you think that that's something? Pfft, you haven't seen anything yet. Elon is now giving away like $1 million if you sign a petition. He's giving away $1 million a day or something up until you can't do it anymore to sign the petition. Okay. A lot of people are going to cry foul and they're going to say, oh, he's doing something illegal and we're going to look into it. And that's all the big rigmarole. That's what everybody's up in arms about. Everybody's talking all about this right now. Some people are making it out like, oh, he's buying people's votes. Other people are making... It's funny. As if like they don't all do that stuff, right? It's as if they're not all like incentivizing people. I had somebody knocking on my door, this old lady. Comes to my door. She must have been like 3 feet tall. She posed for trophies. And she's like knocking on the door. And she's got like John Avalon information because I'm a Long Islander. And John Avalon's like the Democratic guy. And so I said, well, why should I vote for John Avalon? Well, he's not Donald Trump. That was her thing. He's not a Republican. That's why you should vote for him. I'm like, that's what you got? Well, no, he's a nice guy. I'm like, do you have anything else? How am I supposed to vote? I don't know anything about this stuff. This is what people are voting on. They're voting on emotion. They're not thinking. They're not thinking. So anyway, they're up in arms about this. And I got to tell you, there's a German paper that basically is saying that Elon's like the enemy of the people. You know, that's a good way to get people, that's a good way to get people to think, oh, I have to do something. It's terrible. But I want you to focus on something else. Take a look at that picture right there, right? Where you see it's almost like Donald Trump and Elon Musk are the same person. Now that may seem a little familiar to you. Does that seem familiar to you? Where the two of their faces are together? Because I'm going to tell you why in a second. I pictured them that way in 2022, long before Elon was saying Trump's the man. Long before all of that stuff, I had a vibe. You know these vibes. I get them. Sometimes I get the vibes. Sometimes I get the dreams. Sometimes I just I meatball it. And there's nothing wrong with meatballing it. Listen, if I took myself seriously and I acted all seriously and I was like, the Lord gave me this dream. I mean, I see how many people, right? They call themselves prophet this, prophet that. I got the meatball hat. All right? I got the meatball hat. There's a reason. Everybody can seek God. Everybody can be led by God. Everybody can be inspired by God. And everybody will be given dreams and visions in the end days. We're in it. All right? We're in it. I'm sorry that it doesn't seem like a lot of people are doing this stuff, but I did back in 2022. Much watch. Proof that God has warned us, and now we must be prepared. And of course, that video is about the days that were coming ahead. The days that were before us. And then guess who reposts almost the identical picture some 888 days later? Elon. Elon literally puts out the very same thumbnail, basically, that I did 888 days before he put it out there. And ironically, the article that was about the two of them, where their two faces are one, the little mashup. Thank you, Universal. Universal's cheering me on in the live chat saying, go, Jacob, go, go, go. I need it. I need the pats on the back. I swear to God, I get a lot of people jumping down my throat and attacking me. Just because it's like, oh yeah, we get it. You had a dream. Oh yeah, it came true. Whoop did he do? Oh, no one cares. It seems, except for you. All of you care. I know you do, because you're going to share the videos and you're going to make sure you're subscribed and you're going to help. It's free. Just leave a little comment. I told you last time, I said, if you leave a comment for me, I will respond. And you let me know you've never commented before. That'll make me so happy. And a lot of you did, and I responded. Okay, so do it. It helps. Engagement helps. But sharing it just taking that little link and saying, wow, you got to watch this. Because the days that are coming, this can give you an encouragement. It lets you know that God is definitely saying, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. They're going to mash up Elon and Trump, the two of them. I called them the Wonder Twins. I called them Apollo and Artemis back then on May 16th. And 888 days later, this article was like, the Tesla and ex-mogul has long dreamed of redesigning the world in his extreme image. And, ironically, Elon's like, government actually absolutely needs to be realigned or engineered. The guy's saying Elon wants to make the world in his image, and Elon posts that out and says, well, the government really does need to be re-engineered. Who better to do it than the guy that's catching rockets? Hey, I got a quinky-dinky-do on that one too. This week has been like, with the Elon and the Trumpster and the McDonald's, it's been like one quinky-dinky-do after another. Joanne says, I've shared Jacob, so hit me up. I'm hitting you up, Joanne. Whole world knows you're awesome, because you are. I appreciate all of you sharing. It means a lot. But come on. Don't you think that's strange? Don't you think that's strange? I sent the Dan, I sent her over the McDonald's stuff, and she always says to me, I think you're a little psychic. I said, I'm not psychic, honey. Look, if you pray and there is a God, I know there is a God because we exist, so we know that we come from existence. We don't come from non-existence. We're intelligence, we come from intelligence. So I say, oh, Lord, tell me what to do, and you're inspired. The scriptures say that we see through a glass darkly. That means that we can't really see the whole picture right now. It's kind of fuzzy, right? I didn't know that they were going to do a face mashup 888 days later. Do you know what 888 days means? 888 in Strong's, in the Concordance. In Hebrew, it means like evil. And like in Greek, it means like it's worthless. But some people say that 888 also means like rebirth and like, resurrection, that it's like a good thing in the Christian faith. But Strong's puts it as pretty bad. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't a little concerned about the coming days. I wasn't a little concerned. Okay, do you know why? More coinky-dinky-doos with Elon. Do you remember back in 2022 again, October 30th? I did this video where I basically did the whole video and I said, look, Elon is bringing more than the sink to Twitter, okay? And the whole video was about saying he was like the imperator of, he called himself the imperator of Mars. Well, Pilate was the imperator of Rome, the guy who rules. So I did this whole video where I'm basically like, he's Pilate for the earth. He's the guy who's in charge. And I did this whole video where, because he brought in, if you forgot, he brought in the wash basin, into X, and it's now X. It was Twitter at the time. And everybody was like, oh, he's bringing everything in the kitchen sink. I'm like, he's bringing a wash basin for his hands. He's going to go like this. Whatever you want. Do you want Trump back? That's what he did. Then he wrote, voice of the people's voice of God. So I told everybody he's going to be the voice of the people. And you can take a look at the thumbnail and you see voice of the people right there under the sink, circled. That was 1 year, 11 months, 19 days ago. That's 11119. It's like 9/11. Backwards. That's freaky. But what does he do? He also points out the fact that he says, if you take a look, you'll see voice of the people. You'll also see he actually reused that phrase. I don't know how to pronounce it. Vox populi vox Dei, which means the voice of the people is the voice of God. Thank you, Julie, for the super chat. You are the best. I appreciate it. Pilate. Now, so here we are. And he's Pontius Pilate. So I say he's going to be voice of the people. And then he says, oh, I'm voice of the people, basically. Voice of the people is important to him. It does seem to be that way. Pilate was like, look, I don't want to deal with your nonsense. I'll just give you what you want. Now, here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. Is that, I don't know if you noticed that Rome has become pretty much a big thing, like the Roman Catholic Church in particular. I just did shows about the Roman Catholic Church and how its influence is growing. This is we're going to be entering into a very strange time very shortly. But I worry because after Pilate washes his hands, that's really when the big problems happened. That's when Jesus was, put to death. So as part of me, I'm going, oh no, Lord, I don't want there to be like persecution, because who's going to get persecuted? Is it going to be the people that are like, Jesus is king, and if you don't like it, I'll kill you? Is it going to be those guys? Matthew, is it going to be those guys? Matthew says, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Get this man's book. That's right. He gave me $10. He gave me $10 super chat, and then he plugged my book. Yes, The Calling. It is one of the best novels of all time. I wrote it. It's an allegory, but it's really about you. You start reading. If you feel like your life isn't that great, you start here. By the end of the book, you're going to see life like this. I promise. I promise. And if you've never read a book before, you're going to be so proud of yourself. You're going to be so proud of yourself. You're like, I read a novel. And this is written like a bingeable Netflix series. Even if, I don't know if Netflix still has good series, but it's like I'm telling you, you will like it. And there are layers to this book. I'll give you a hint, because there's a lot of stuff I hid. If you take every chapter title and you put it together, it's a poem that I wrote for you. Whew, it's freaky. What a great novel. Thank you for saying that, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Years ago, I said he was going to be the Pilate character, and here we are. He's kind of reconfirming all of my sort of, I guess, concerns with this stuff. This is a lot. This is a lot to take in. Trump's handing out French fries at McDonald's, which that's weird, right? The voting machine dream that I had. And in the amount of time, the 117 days, it's weird. There's another thing that's going on with Elon, okay? He actually put out this picture where you'll see where Aviation Week, it's like a magazine. He caught the rocket booster. We've talked about it. It was a big deal. I earlier on April 23rd wrote, are you ready to catch a fallen star? Better to catch and release than utterly destroy. The harp of God is being played 78 weeks before the great catch. Now here's weird. He shared that out, but he also shared a picture of Aviation Week calling SpaceX David and Goliath. And I just did my whole show about David and Goliath. Is that sus? Is that a connection? Especially time-wise, is it? Well, David and Goliath, David fights a giant, right? And what did I tell you about the giant? I want to blow up this picture of the giant, but first I want you to take a look at Elon's post. Okay, let me blow this up so you can take a look at it. He's actually saying, free the giant. That's what he's writing. He's writing, free the giant. Free the giant. He basically compared America to Gulliver, and that America's being held back because of all of the regulation. All the regulation is holding America back. They want to get rid of all of the red tape. They want to do what needs to be done. Who cares if there's a seal that may have its ears hurt and have to deal with lifelong tinnitus that is like a torture. Like this that I deal with all the time. It is not fun. And I'm going to have to deal with it for a long time, like forever. And I'm not that happy about it. I have to be honest. But I'm doing a good job coping, Doing a good job coping. Kind of. All right. So he says, free the giant that is America. Now, and then I'm talking about David and Goliath. But take a look at my thumbnail for David and Goliath. It's an AI robot. It's an AI robot. How strange is that? Stranger still. The same day, let me show this to you. Okay? I hope you're all enjoying the show. Let me know, will you? Mellie's saying she hears me, so you're getting it. Okay, so it says right here, Quinky Dinky Doo, exactly 1 month before Elon declares free the giant, I shared my song about how corrupt the land of giants really is. Now, you know, I do these, I write poems and stuff. Let me pause this. I write poems and stuff, and I'm going to lower it down just a little bit. And then I'm going to come over here. And I've written probably thousands of poems. I'm a writer. This is what I do. That's why I say you should get the book. Like, if you like my YouTube channel, this is like nothing. Me, you know, like as a writer, that's what I was born to do. That's why I was a writer for the largest Christian television network in the world until I was fired because I spoke up. I was a writer for World Wrestling Federation until I was fired because I spoke up. Never made a lot of money working for these places, but I'll tell you one thing, I got them a lot of ratings. Like literally, Vince lost half of his audience after I left, and I don't think he's gotten it back to this day. I was there between 99 and 2001. And you also know that I talk quite a bit about Vince, and I was The Undertaker's writer and Kane's writer. And I don't know if you saw just recently, Kane and The Undertaker are, you know, endorsing Trump. And then on the other side, you have Batista, and Batista is, you know, punching things and trying to show the world that, you know, this man who's like almost 80 years old or something. I don't know how old is Trump, that he's not a tough guy. He's an old man. He's an old man. Batista, you're looking a little silly. But you know, I was Undertaker's writer and I was Kane's writer. So it's interesting. But you know what's really interesting was the fact that years earlier, I didn't plug this in. I did a video called The Last Trumper. And it was all about The Undertaker and Donald Trump, because a while ago, Trump entered one of his rallies, this was like years ago, to The Undertaker's gong. Spooky stuff going on. But anyway, let me play this song, and because this is a really good song, and you know, we'll see what you think. It's about the land of giants.
Teachers teach for hire. The evangelists speak of either no responsibility or infinite fire. For gain they remain, for name they claim the truth while proving to be liars. And I, Lord, oh, I feel like a spy in a land of giants, seeking day and night and feeling like I'm never going to find it. Because your truth, oh Lord, few seem to wanna buy it. They built out of the reputations they've killed a kingdom that will become a funeral pyre. For the behavior of those who claim to be God, I have truly grown tired. When will you show the world if they be corrupt, they will be fired? Or else, how will they know your kingdom in this life? They never know until this type of behavior they retire. And I, Lord, oh, I feel like a spy in a land of giants, seeking day and night and feeling like I'm never gonna find it. Because your truth, oh Lord, few seem to wanna buy it. But here I am, oh Lord, here I am, a broken and beaten, prayerful man who prays he's never misleading. Here I am, do your will, but please help me and others to find its meaning. Show them, grow them, lead them, for you are far better than me. A worthless worm agonizing to create harm in me. So one day, they'll say the God of Jacob is the God of eternity.
I hope you enjoyed that. That was I really like that song. I got to be honest with you. I really like that song, and I hope that I hope you enjoyed it too. But it's just strange that here I am singing about, feeling like a spy in a land of giants, and that like I'm tired of these people that think that they're God, that they're making all the rules. And here he's saying free to giant. I don't know. I do feel like the days ahead are going to be very interesting. How could I not? All of these things coming together in such a way, I don't know. Nobody, he has risen, says, be watchful of anyone offering me money for fame. No one's ever that's the thing. No one's even offered me money for fame. I think the reason is they know. Listen, if I was, I've been in these places. If I wanted to be, I could be doing fantastic things in the world and not for the Lord. Those that pick up their cross, they do a little bit of suffering. It's not an easy, it's not a cakewalk. So what really matters is not the life in this world and what you accomplish. I have more than I need. I have a beautiful home. I have a beautiful family. I love my wife so much. I got lost in a corn maze yesterday. Got lost in a corn maze, literally, for like an hour and a half. Me, Ethan, and the Dan. There were like other families. They were lost too, and they were getting together. They were like getting stressed out and worried. They were thinking of calling for help. They did something with the corn maze this year. They like added some loops or something. But what I'm saying is like life is good. Life is good. I know people in the industry. They don't have no family life, and it's like, that's okay, because if that's what their purposes and that's where they're supposed to go, then, who am I to judge? But I'm not going to complain. And I'm certainly, I've been offered, like people on DM, like, well, if you stop talking, I'll give you millions of dollars. I've had that happen. And I think they're full of baloney, but I wouldn't take it either. I've even had people say that your wife would leave you if I offered her $50 million. Someone said that to me. Can you believe the nerve? They don't even know. They don't even know, because they're so used to people that are not like you and me. The day that the earth is inherited by the meek is a day that's coming. But to get there, I'm not too thrilled with how it's going to go. I'm not too thrilled. I actually will say, though, that, I put these things out about the dreams that I have and all these things, and and I'm blown away. I'm like every time something like this happens, I feel like a little kid. I'm like, and I feel like nobody really seems to appreciate it as much as me. I actually had one person, let me read this to you. One person said, the all-knowing prophet Jacob called everything in the last 6 years. Amazing track record. How dare you not watch, like, with a laughing face? And he was being he was not being nice. He's trolled me before, and, but in all honesty, it was kind of a nice compliment. I said, thanks. I call myself a meatball and a witness, though. I appreciate you following me. Wish you got more out of what I shared. I do have pretty amazing track record, though. You're right. God is good, because I don't know what I'm doing. And I can't take any credit, like most take credit. Clearly, it happens far more here than anywhere else. And it's more accurate, too. I mean, the 117 connection with all the flooding. Wow. God has given us many receipts here. If you really watched, and I think that you'd enjoy what I shared instead of misjudging. I don't call for war. I don't call for fear. I simply want people to know my God, who is love, and not what the Christian prophets of today, like Brand and others, worship, who believe in endless torture, instead of patiently a God who encourages and corrects. It's a bummer, however, that people like yourself mock my posts like this instead of praising God and being encouraged by it. You explain it without God in the mix. Ask yourself, why you always troll me? Why is that? Most likely because you're listening to a bunch of negative crap in your head and you're lashing out. So I'm here to love on you regardless. Hope you can at least admit it's wild that it happened and not normal. This is not normal. How many people you know have dreams and then boom, they happen, right? I'll tell you one thing. A lot of you started sharing your dreams. Adawar, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, Israel. She had like a dream came true like the other day. It was very strange. You know, God is speaking to all of us. So anyway, I felt a little bad. So I actually created this meme using Grok. And you see the first frame is like Jesus is walking on water and everybody in the crowd's like, yeah, whatever, boring. And then I wrote, this is why no sign is given but that of the prophet Jonah. Sign of the prophet Jonah is the only thing that's given in the end. The parable of Lazarus and the rich man, where there was a chasm between heaven and hell. The carnal man cannot cross into the heavenly. Can't happen. It's an impossibility. It's an impossibility. The carnal man cannot cross over, even if somebody comes back from the dead. They won't care. Could you imagine? It's like a video. I'm at like a mall or something, and like God does something through me, and somebody walks. No one would believe. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. It would be cool though. It would be cool though. You ever have that moment where you're like looking at somebody in your handicap and you're like, do I have that kind of faith to go up and do something like that? Because I know the only thing that really, really matters is how a person sees spiritually, hears spiritually, speaks spiritually, walks spiritually. That's what really matters to me. But anyway, I'm going to let you all go. I hope that this show was encouraging to you. I hope it didn't freak you out. There's a lot of receipts. There's a lot of receipts. This happens so often on this channel. And I can only thank all of you, because if it wasn't for all of you, it wasn't for you sharing and liking, it wasn't for you signing up on Patreon or getting yourself the coolest merch ever, or, hang on, where is it? trulyfreehome.com. If it wasn't for you doing that, instead of using all the chemicals and all the toxins, you start ordering from here, you save money, you're better for the environment, better for your family, better for everybody, and you get 30% off, and you help old Jacob out. If it wasn't for all of you, I wouldn't be able to do it. And by the way, my voice is shot. Everything, it hurts to talk, but I'm glad that I got this show done. And I'm glad that you're all here. And I hope that you do share it around, you hit the like, you tell your friends, and you let me know in the comment section what you thought. How much more proof do we need? That was my title. Thank you, Mrs. Cher. Appreciate it. Says that she's following me for 2 years now with her 10-year-old son. Love the knowledge. Gain. More importantly, oh yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. We're going to, our children and our children's children are going to be in, I know that you're probably scared about the world to come, but it's going to be a much holier world than what we're living in right now. Things that really matter are going to matter. And that's what matters the most. All right. I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Have the best day ever. I got to take Ethan to the gym. He should be home soon. And I'll see you soon.